crisis and economic depression, small business owners often struggle with making sales and keeping the loyalty of their people. Because if you ain't selling, it's hard to pay the bills.
On the Ethical Sales Podcast, you will learn new ways to selling ethically and communicating with your people to create more loyalty and getting out of the rut of stress and frustration.
When there is plenty of sales, there should be plenty of profit to keep things flowing smoothly and everybody be happy. It's a fine day here in Pennsylvania. Hope you guys are doing fine. Our topic for today, Matt.
We are going to talk about a few tips on how to help the small business owner get out of the rat race. Because I think that's something every small business owner has in common. They feel like they're in a rat race, that everything tends to kind of fall into their lap, or that they have to touch everything for things to keep going. When you leave, it stops. When you come back, it keeps going. I think that's something that a lot of small business owners face.
And I don't think the dream ever was to start your own business and have your business run you. You know, a lot of us had the dream of starting our own business and then found ourselves at some point being kind of run by the business, and, you know, you're willing to work harder for yourself than you were for your employer. And so now all of a sudden you're putting, 12, 14 hours a day into it. You don't know why you're burned out, and you're just not very effective.
So, just some thoughts for you to think about. A mindset shift, a mindset change that kind of needs to happen if you're going to get out of the rat race. And one of those things is putting people in place to take care of things that you don't have to take care of, or things that you can pay people to take care of. If it's a $20 an hour position, then why are you doing it? You own a business. If you want to make $20 an hour, go work for somebody. So start thinking about, what are things that I'm doing that I can hire somebody else to do for me so that it frees me up some time, but that it still gets done? How can I set my business up in a way that I can actually walk away from it for a few hours, for a few days, and it still keeps going? And that when I come back, I don't have 173,000 things that I have to do.
Mm-hmm. That was kind of a random number, wasn't it?
Yeah, I've been listening to Trump some. So putting people in place, I think one of the first things small businesses owners should take in consideration is putting in a salesperson. If all the sales is falling in your lap right now, start thinking about putting somebody in place to take care of those sales for you. Start thinking about putting somebody in place that does nothing but sells projects for you, that goes and gets new money for you and your company. If that individual can go out and make enough sales to pay for himself and to make you money, you're ahead. That's not that hard to do. So start thinking about, how can you free yourself up from that? Every big company, every good company out there has salespeople that do that for them. If you have to sell the job, you have to line up the job. You actually have to go out and be the foreman on the job. You have to submit the quote. You have to bid the job. You have to do everything. All of a sudden, just being real, your life is probably going to be easier if you just go work for somebody for $20 an hour, because you can just go and put in 8 hours and leave. Now you're putting in 12 hours. And a lot of people find themselves in a situation where they're not even making that much more. If they break it down, they're only making $20 an hour. And they're stressed. It just takes some courage to do some of the things that we're talking about, really, is all it takes. It just takes some courage.
It takes courage, and then it also takes trusting other people. I had a conversation the last couple of weeks with several different people that had brought this subject up about, man, I feel like I'm in a rat race. That's one thing that I told both of these guys is, you need to go find somebody that you can replace yourself, that they can do some of the things that you're doing. And both of the guys told me the same thing. Well, nobody can do it as good as I can do it. Well, that's a big problem. I agree. Maybe nobody can do it as good as you can do it, and that's fine. But you have to start somewhere, and you have to start trusting people. You bring somebody in, and you give them ownership of that thing. You say, this is your court. This is what I want you to do. And maybe, just maybe, that person can do it better than you can do it, because he can focus, he can get really good at that thing, and he'll master it. And in 6 months from now, you'll look back and go, wow, that guy grew so much, and it freed me up so much, and I'm able to be more productive over here, because your time is worth a whole lot more than taking the trash out. Your time is worth a whole lot more, maybe even than writing up contracts and things like that. You have to be vulnerable. You have to give people chances. Well, and if you're not willing to do that, then it's just going to always be you.
Yeah, you're not hiring somebody, bringing somebody in the company and turning them loose without any training. If you're great at what you're doing, then have that person go with you for a while. Work side by side and just start handing a little bit more and a little bit more over to them. And it'll be a transition to where now they can do what you do just as good as you did. And it freed you up from that time. The other thing is, obviously, as you're selling more projects, you're going to have somebody go be a foreman for you. If you don't have a foreman and you're, a lot of small businesses, a lot of the guys that we work with, like I said, they're selling the jobs and then they're being the foreman on the job. They're actually going out and making sure the job's going the way it's supposed to, and maybe going looking at another project and coming back to the job or whatever. And that's kind of the way they've done things. So you're going to want to also think about who can I put in charge of my crew so that I can take them out on the job. I can show them what section needs to be done, or I can show them what needs to be done, and I can walk away and I know it's going to get done right. Just starting to put some people in place like that and maybe have a small mindset shift. It's going to start freeing you up and giving you time to actually go to your office and just make sure that the people are taking care of what needs to be taken care of. You're going to be able to slow down. You're going to be able to put less hours into your business, and your business is actually going to grow. But you're going to have to, as we said earlier, you're going to feel like you're losing control on some of those things. And that's all part of growth. I've heard it said you can have growth or control, but you can't have both.
Be willing to put some people in your team to help you ease up some of those stresses. We're really talking about a quality of life. That's why you started your business. Sometimes you just need to take a good hard look and say, is it really getting me what I want out of life? Because there's a whole lot more to life than just money. And yeah, I agree with you. If you have more money, it's probably going to be less stressful than if you don't have enough money. But these are ways that you can ease some of that stress off yourself and grow your business.
I thought I was winning the rat race, and then along came faster rats. Maybe it's time to get out of the rat race and share some of that responsibility. Awesome conversations. Yeah. Love it.
Build your team and give them ownership.
This episode was brought to you by JB Foaming and Vac Services. If you're a roofing contractor looking for rock removal, gravel removal from a roof, simply reach out to JB Foaming and Vac Services at 330-680-1232. Again, reach out to JB Foaming and Vac Services at 330-680-1232, or find them on Facebook. And don't forget to subscribe, rate, and review us on Apple Podcasts.
This episode was hosted by the Max Potential Podcast Network. Find more great shows at maxpotential.com.